I hope you've spent an enjoyable Christmas day. The letters you've sent requesting the 78s you've loved and lost or just can't play anymore frequently contain more than one suggestion, and my producer and I have just had to plump for one. Hence this from Michael Thomas, a name that many serious record collectors will know, someone who's done much to promote the rare and the forgotten. Mr. Thomas writes, since collecting 78s as a schoolboy, I have regarded the wonderful Mengelberg Columbia series as the best orchestral recordings of their time. As to something really rare, how about the suite from André Worms's once popular ballet L'Enfant Prodigue, recorded by Harty, Sammons and W.H. Squire in a trio arrangement. And speaking of Harty, the Columbia New Process Chovanchina Prelude was surely the finest of the dark blue labels. Well, we had Mengelberg in the last series. We listened to the Wormser and found it wanting. So here is Harty and his band, recorded in the Free Trade Hall, Manchester, with the prelude to Mussorgsky's 5-act drama, an evocative picture entitled Dawn on the Moskva River. Nothing in Russian music, wrote one critic, is more intensely or touchingly national in feeling. prelude to Mussorgsky's Chovanchina, played by the Halley Orchestra under Sir Hamilton Harty. Earlier in the year on In Tune, I played The City, an overture by Hayden Wood. Don Wright of Ewell near Epsom in Surrey wrote in asking if Radio 3 couldn't play more music by Hayden Wood and others of his ilk. I do tend to agree, Mr. Wright, that we don't give enough due to those composers who've earned the sobriquet light music composer, a difficult term to define, but often used as a way of saying second rate. And one of the composers Mr. Wright wants to hear more of is Montague Phillips. Where is the splendid music of Montague Phillips, he says, now obviously regarded as unfashionable and never played? For example, apart from the pleasurable Surrey Suite, concert overtures, Hampton Court, Charles II, countless songs and part songs, 2, I think, symphonies, piano concerto, and his masterly musical play, The Rebel Maid. There must be much more. Well, yes, there is much more, Mr. Wright, including this charming song, Among the Willows. It's sung by Isabel Bailey, when she still called herself Bella Bailey. Among the Willows, words by Nancy Marsland, music by Montague Fawcett Phillips, recorded on the 23rd of February 1927 by Bella Bailey with an unidentified orchestra and conductor. Now, if you were listening to yesterday's programme, you'll remember I promised Mrs. Olive Wright an Isabel Bailey record and a Frederick Thurston disc as compensation for losing out on The Shepherd on the Rock. Well, here is the Thurston disc, which was prompted also by this request from George Timker of Hersham near Walton-on-Thames in Surrey. He writes, please may we hear some of Sir Charles Stanford's music. I mean some of his music that is not yet available on CD, ideally works that aren't currently performed, and which even I, as a confirmed Stanfordian, have never heard. Do please indulge me, he writes. I know that I'm not alone in considering that CVS has a claim to being called the greatest musician that these islands have ever produced. Yes, well, we'll get some letters about that, Mr. Timker. But here are Frederick Thurston and Myers Foggin, a future principal of Trinity College of Music, by the way. In the single movement they recorded of Stanford's Clarinet Sonata. It's entitled by the Irish word Caoine, C-A-O-I-N-E, translated lament. clarinet playing of a different era. Frederick Thurston, that was, with Myers-Foggin in The Lament from Stanford's Sonata for Clarinet and Piano, Opus 129, recorded on Decca K853. Our next featured artist has a kind of a link with that, for he began as a clarinet player in the local band of Montagnana, where he was born in 1885. The most requested tenors on the shellac show are not Caruso or Gilli or Björling, but Richard Tauber and Giovanni Martinelli. Martinelli now, Tauber tomorrow. What an extraordinary career Martinelli had when you think that he made his debut in Milan in 1910 and gave his last appearance in Turandot in 1967, at the age of 82, just 2 years before his death. He sang with the Metropolitan Opera for 30 years, singing Radames in Aida 126 times, and Don José in Carmen 75 times. John Donald of Barnet in Hertfordshire has asked to hear him in an aria from Halevy's La Juive. Martinelli appeared as Eleazar, the Jewish goldsmith, in both the 1924 and 1936 Met productions. So here he is in the aria from the Passover scene at the beginning of Act 2, O Dieu, Dieu de nos pères. God, God of our fathers, from La Juive, the Metropolitan Opera Chorus and Orchestra, conducted by Giulio Setti, chorus master at the Met from 1908 to 1935, and who directed many recordings for Victor of Met stars such as Poncel, Gilli and Giovanni Martinelli. That disc, by the way, has just found its way onto CD. I must say it's wonderful the way so many historic performances are reappearing, but no sooner than we are asked for a disc on the Shellac show that has never resurfaced on LP or CD, then lo and behold, it appears. Like this next one. A Rickaby, gender unknown, wrote from Burscough near Ormskirk in Lancashire to say, I would very much like to hear Louis Kentner playing Liszt's Second Hungarian Rhapsody. This was issued on a 78 RPM Columbia record and seems to be unobtainable on any medium now. I look forward with hope. Well, it's just appeared on a collection of Kentner's Liszt recordings on the APR label. A disc which also includes his underrated and pioneering performances of the Ballade No. 2, Benediction de Dieu, Scherzo and March, Ninth Hungarian Rhapsody, among others. Why these marvellous discs have been out of circulation for so long is a mystery. Such effective and judicious playing. Hungarian Rhapsody No. 2, played by Louis Kentner and recorded in two separate sessions, side 1 in March 1937, side 2 3 weeks later. Columbia DX777, and now APR 5514, you may like to know, A. Rickaby. Kentner was Hungarian-born, though he became a naturalised Brit in the 30s, and that links us to our next fascinating request. Liszt's father, Adam, was an official on the Esterházy estate when his famous son was born. Haydn had died only 2 years previously, the most celebrated employee of the Esterházy family. Bill Clark of Peel Common Gosport in Hampshire dropped a line to ask, how do you hear Haydn recorded exactly as he heard it? Impossible? No, he says. 3 musical clocks survive from 1772, 1792 and 1793, and 7 pieces have been recorded on the actual clocks, on parlophone R1164. Yes, they have, albeit they were recorded in 1930. Here are 4 of the 7 brief movements: Allegro Moderato, Minuet, the Quail, a second Minuet and a Presto, which Haydn wrote for one of these musical clocks in 1792. Haydn's musical clocks, recorded in 1930. I had an amusing letter from Mr. A. Roxburgh. Valse du Colibri, enchanting, he says, by Varney. The aria comes from Act 2 of L'amour mouillé, which you might translate as Racked with Love, an opera by Louis Varney, best known for his 1880 light opera Les Mousquetaires au Couvent, the Musketeers at the Convent, still revived occasionally in France. Here is the Valse de Colibri, sometimes known as the Valse d'Oiseau, recorded enchantingly in 1927 by the great Lucrezia Borri.
C'est mignon.
Lucrezia Borri in the Valse du Colibri from Louis Varney's opera L'Amour Mouillé. Let's stay in France for our next 78 and, musicologically speaking, jump forward half a century. This is a forgotten recording by the great harpist Lily Laskin, who lived from 1893 to 1988. It's simply called Scherzetto. Who do you think wrote it? Laskin on La Voix de son Maître, recorded in about 1950, playing the Scherzetto by Jacques Ibert. So to our final piece for this evening's Shellac Show. We rather let down Barry Smith of St Albans in Hertfordshire last year. After extensive inquiries, we failed to track down a number called Pas de Mouvement, which he remembered as the theme tune from The Count of Monte Cristo in the 1950s. Perhaps somebody else can identify it. And then his sister, Mrs. Kell, asked for a recording of Dvorak's Carnival Overture, which unfortunately didn't pass muster. So I'm more than happy to play this year's request from Mrs. Kell. The Hungarian Dance and Chardash from Swan Lake, played by the London Philharmonic Orchestra under Sir John Barbarolli. London Philharmonic Orchestra conducted by Sir John Barbarolli in the Hungarian Dance and Chardash from Tchaikovsky's Swan Lake. And that brings this Christmas Day edition to a close. Tomorrow's programme includes music by Mozart, Mio and Mehul, with performances by Richard Tauber, Ada Alsop and Una Born, amongst others. I do hope you can join me for that. Until then, goodbye.
And Jeremy and Nicholas will be back tomorrow at 11:15 with another edition of the Shellac Show.